The exclusive right to sell property listing agreement is an agreement between the real estate brokerage and a client to sell their house and market it. So we'll start at the top. You can see up here that this top section just defines parties and the location of the property. Mr. and Mr. Seller are working with the real estate company, in this case Carnival Real Estate. The address is 123 somewhere, and it lists the city, uh, county, lot, block, subdivision, and those type things. Section 1. Section 1 is where the seller gives authorization to the broker to disseminate property through print, media, mailouts, those type things. Also to put lockbox on the property and to release and hold harmless the real estate brokerage for any loss, damage, or theft which may occur while the property is listed. It's very important to keep your insurance active during this time. Also, finally, gives you the important piece, gives the brokerage the authority to list the property in the multiple listing service and its associated groups that it sends out to, like Zillow and Trulia. Period of agreement here is typically from the day that you sign it through 1 year. It can be 6 months. It can be any amount of time on that. It can be 2 years. Terms and condition. This is where you agree upon the price to list it at. In this case, it's a really awesome house, and we're excited to list it for you at $1,000,000. Possession is given per the contract, so we don't know when that'll happen. So we're saying that when a contract comes through, it'll list the date that happens. Part B, 3B, says the seller agrees to maintain the property. So you're going to keep your insurance up and keep things going on it. If there's problems, you're going to fix it. Disclosure, there in section 4. This is the disclosure that says that it's up to a buyer to discover any defects about the property in the state of Alabama. It's a buyer beware state. However, remember that real estate agents operate under a different set of ethics, and we have to disclose things. So if you let us know, and it's always a good idea to disclose, I think it's going to cut down on any issues or problems. Marketing the property, 5 is important. This talks about who we can share your address and information with. So I'm going to use all, as a brokerage, going to use all reasonable efforts to market your property for sale, putting property signs in, keys, making it available during reasonable hours to show. That's very important if you're still in the home. And you're also going to give me the right to put the property on the internet, and also to display the address on the internet. I feel those two are important. The next two down here, you can see, to allow an automated estimate of the market value. You can allow that or not as you see fit, and also allow third parties to write comments about your reviews on your property. Part C says that you acknowledge and understand that we're required to report the conditions and terms of the sale to the MLS. So once the sale happens, we're going to report back to the MLS so that it gives good data and good information for others down the road as they're trying to come up with a price for their home or purchase. 6 is the brokerage fee. This is important. This is the part that says here, in this case, a 6% fee to be split with a broker, transaction broker, buyer broker, 3%, and then 3% here to the listing agent. This also says this 90 days, basically says if you go fire your broker and then turn around and sell it to somebody that he had shown it to, or was the reason that they came in the door, then you still owe that commission. Agency disclosure, this goes back to the RECAD that we discussed. This shows who we're willing to work with, that you're going to use the services of the broker as both an agent or possibly a limited consensual dual agent, and that we will cooperate and share brokerage fees with the buyer brokers and transaction brokers. Lead-based paint, if your home was built before 1978, you're going to get a little pamphlet that you need to sign some info on saying you have no knowledge of any lead-based paint issues, and it basically tells you not to eat the paint. 9, earnest money. It's always a great question. This one just lets you know that if the earnest money comes in, it's going to be held in a trust account with one of the two brokerage firms, either the listing or the selling brokerage firm. And to really understand how that earnest money works and all will be explained during the contract in better detail. Binding arbitration, number 10. This just basically says, hey, if there's any problems in all this, let's go in lieu of trial by jury, let's go to binding arbitration. The final one, seller warranty, this basically says you have the authority to sell the property and convey the title. And that's the basics of it. I like to add into mine that you may cancel anytime with written notice, and that you agree that once the listing will go active on the MLS as soon as the photos are ready and approved by you. And that's basically the whole of this contract, or this agreement rather, not a contract, to list your property.